Calling all Soulsers, Soulzettes, Knights, Mages, Crystal Sages, Dex Builders, Staff Wielders, and Semi-Skilders? Jesus, that one was forced. This is my 5th attempt at a Dark Souls related video. The first and oldest attempt was decent, it was kind of funny, it had a couple zingers in it, and apparently it caught a lot of traffic, but I just didn't feel satisfied with it. The following 2 attempts after that were way too damn serious, and I tried way too hard to be one of those insightful, discussion-invoking video essay channels or whatever, because I thought I was smart enough for it, and what that ended up being was a 17-minute long, harsh, ill-prepared, ill-researched, galactic-sized mound of F-tier, MLA-sided, look how educated I am, load of self-important drivel with a raunch so palpable that I still get that same bad taste in my mouth whenever I eat cereal. And the 4th one, well, just kinda didn't go anywhere. But don't you dare go and watch it, because it was probably crap anyways. That said, after years of me yelling at a screen, I've finally come to terms with what I'm good at, and more importantly, what I'm not. I'm aware of my own expectations, so enjoy this prolonged, perverse, properly poetic piss take of a particularly peeving and pestiferous progression of pricks that piss me right off. Let's get going. Dogs! Hot diggity dimmadam! Dealers of death, delegates of destruction. Whether you're deprived or a deacon, it's doomsday when these devilish dogs decide to digest, disembowel, and disarrange. Dogs have been around long enough in the Souls universe for just about anyone to synonymize their presence with an instant, usually humiliating death. When the dogs are brought out, it's as though every flaw you have as a player suddenly is just brought out with them, in the most abundantly clear, flamboyant way possible. You'll misjudge your own timing, mistime dodges, and you'll swing blindly at the air with whatever weapon you think is useful enough to do the job. But a +5 sway-hander doesn't do ass if you can't hit a damn thing with it. And the dogs of Dark Souls are well beyond aware of that. You'll be chewing through your stamina bar, and it's almost as if they know when you're depleted, because the instant you get greedy and start swinging around thinking you have an opening, 2 more dogs show up from the mysterious land of you gotta be fucking kidding me-opolis by the time you've thoroughly exhausted yourself. Dogs do nothing for me. They're only here to serve whatever dark master is responsible for summoning them to the earth, and their endless bouncing and zipping and barking around gives me at least one existential crisis a night. You may have had a lucky damageless run on NG +5, but you're not a true Souls veteran until you've had your unfortunate ass beat down from full health by one of these salivating shitheads. Rock Lizards, a real rambunctious rout of raggedy rampallions that'll roll you over, rectally ravage your rear, and outright ruin your perfect run. Rinse and repeat. The Rock Lizards of the Archdragon Peak are the biggest jokes I think I've ever dealt with. I've borne my fair share of scars from the local pitchfork-wielding troglodytes. I've been eaten, spit up, and excremented on by the franchise's largest insects. I've combated the embarrassment of accidentally hitting the dodge button one too many times and throwing myself into harm's way, but no pitfall has amounted to anything as undignified, tantalizing, and downright absurd as turning a corner and being T-boned by an anthill with a face. These piss ants have no right to even be this difficult. It's nothing that's special, it's just another thing you have to kill, but its staggering rolling attack has just enough power for it to be an inconvenience. You better not drop your guard for more than a few seconds, because these sentient playground clumps of clay are 1. Prone to hiding in very inconvenient, albeit clever locations, waiting for a poor, unsuspectful knight that they can crowd control into another, much more damaging hazard, and 2, goddamn fucking everywhere. The roll itself is easy to dodge around if you're expecting it, but the rock lizards are never just by themselves. There's always some greater threat looming around. Let's say a giant dragon that's usually coupled with these things. And while that's busy demanding all your attention, the rock lizards are eyeing your unsuspecting ass up and down like free real estate. If you've been killed thanks to one of these roly-poly dickheads, the killing blow was likely dealt to you by something much bigger. Something that you could have easily escaped from had you not been pancaked into the floor by a smiling boulder. This is my swamp, you saggy tittied cretin. Look at all these oafs stumbling around like they own the whole forest. Well, bad news for you is they probably do, and your ass is encroaching on their turf, so get the hell out lest you get chomped, eaten, and farted on. Ogres are massive, smelly, and have so much HP that if their UI looked like yours, their health bar would have to make an abrupt right turn to keep from running off the damn screen. You probably remember these guys from Dark Souls 2. They aren't fun to deal with, they pose an unnecessarily large threat up close, but from 10 or more feet away way, they're about as threatening as a pigeon with one wing. They can eat you, sit on you, and uppercut your jaw off like Mike Tyson. They just aren't worth it. These shameless pigs have no redeeming value whatsoever. 9 out of 10 encounters end in imminent death, yet their greatest and most exploitable weakness just so happens to be holding circle and running the hell over somewhere else. None of the items they drop can't be found from another less annoying and cooler looking enemy, and to summarize, they're about as useful as a foot pedal on a wheelchair. Corvians! Critterish crows communicate cowardice at first, but conk around without cause, and these clods will turn downright cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Corvians are like a crow trapped inside the body of a much tougher, more ravenous, and actually threatening crow, which kinda sounds like a GG easy fight for you when you think about it. Nothing to really write home about an oblivious, emotionless crow gazing into the immeasurable depths of this wooden tree bark. I mean, I guess I can slap him around and get his soul. Oh fuck, oh shitting fuck, he has a scythe. Well, that went from 0 to 100 really damn quick. My favorite part about fighting these guys is when there seem to be 3 or 4 of them nestled up in a hovel somewhere, and you do the textbook Dark Souls patented lure them out individually with throwing knives technique, only to end up aggroing all 4 of them at once despite them being 10 feet away from each other. Or when you decide to just dick up the day of some lone Corvian squatting in a bush, unaware that they've cultivated a psychic link with 5 other Corvians across the damn biome that can just somehow figure exactly where you are and zero in on your bird-hating ass. Corvians can eat a dick. Archers assemble to annihilate any and all atoms of their antithesis. Assholes anticlimactically assassinating all adversaries from acres away. I can reluctantly admit to, at a point in time, being one of those get good or get wrecked Neanderthals that exercised an extreme distaste for any player that hasn't beaten the game NG+7, fists only, no upgrades, no bathroom breaks, with one hand gorilla glued to their desk and their roommate yelling in their fucking ear. But when it comes to archers, I think more people should sympathize with newer players, and at least admit that there's no way someone who has never played the game could possibly see this coming. I've never been a pro, per se, but I do consider myself to be, somewhat competent when it comes to knowing how to hold a sword, and despite how used to it we've gotten, the idea of being expected to battle 3 NPCs while keeping a lookout for giant iron arrows taller than you are is so asinine and out of left field that of course every player isn't going to be looking for that to happen. Why would your average tie-wearing casual Joe stop to consider that an arrow the size of a goddamn couch would blow them off the edge of the scaffolding they were resting at? For fuck's sake. And for the record, I'm not even saying casual as an insult there. It's easy to identify all the little traps and distractions the game has when you've given it a playthrough or 2 to digest, but not so if you've never picked it up. If you're a Souls noob, here's a tip. Fuck archers. And you know what? Fuck jailers too. Yep, that's right, Rusty's into the second half of this video now, where manual reviewers don't often bother to check, which means now I can curse as much as I damn well fucking please. I think regardless of your rank of veteranship in the Souls series, the jailers in Dark Souls 3 are a special breed of inconvenience that gave just about everyone a heart attack during their first run. You have enough boulders and spears dropped on you, and a mortal human being like us can only take so much stress, And there's going to be a point in time where you start looking at your health bar like it's your actual child. You're proud of that health bar, You're sticking decals on the back of your 1983 Nissan shitbox about how massive and prosperous your health pool is, and you're taking the piss out of other people that do the same. Ooh, this guy's health bar has a Harvard scholarship. Ooh, eat sand, shit breath. You start treating your HP with a bit of security because you've grown jaded and unfazed to the potential fuckery going on around any given corner that can and will kill you. So you can only imagine the ensuing panic attack when an enemy suddenly begins taking that away. I don't mean doing damage and taking away your health. I mean literally pressing down on your health bar and decreasing its maximum capacity. And the smaller it gets, the slower the rate at which it depletes, to a point where it becomes agonizing, and you're just anticipating the death that you don't even know for certain is going to happen. It feels like someone is dangling a venomous cobra 3 inches from my neck while not actually letting it bite me. It's fucking infuriating. Greatshields. Great gruesome Greatshields grander than a gorilla. I've got gripes galore with these goons. You know him, you hate him. Everything is GG easy wins when you have one, but when some random B-class knight in Lothric picks this thing up, he suddenly thinks he's King Conk of Dick Castle. Bouncing around these things are honestly just maddening, because 9 out of 10 times you run into one of these cretins, they never just outright attack you. They're playing some next level 900 IQ game of mental chess, and they want your dumbass to attack first. And half the time that doesn't even fucking fucking work. It's like they don't even want to fight anyone. They just leave their quarters with the Great Shield, their sole mission being to just get up in everyone's face with it and become the most annoying living thing on the planet. I've gotten so bored and impatient waiting for these guys to put down their shields and do something that I eventually just give up hope and move on. I'm actually sorry that you thought this highly of yourself, sir. I feel a semblance of sympathy that you thought the greatest, most sensible method of keeping a player from progressing in the game was to grab a shield and start bashing my nuts off. Like, you know you have a spear holstered on your back, right? Think you'd want to use it anytime soon so I can parry your ass and get this over with? Be it Dark Souls 1 through 3, Demon Souls, or Bloodborne, or whatever FromSoft game you're a fan of, except maybe Armored Core. There's always a skeleton. There's just always a fucking skeleton, you know? There are more skeletons in the Souls universe than there were Tiger electronic handhelds in the 90s. Skeletons! Skeletons with swords! Skeletons with shivs! Really big skeletons! Even bigger skeletons with really big swords! Skeletons on wheels! 2 skeletons for the price of 1! Skeletons with no down payment! We have so many goddamn skeletons up in this bitch that we're practically shoveling them off the edge of cliffs just to make room for more server space. All shapes and sizes, all variants of the same annoying shit you've been dealing with in Souls for the past 8 years. It's nice to see things never change, you know? Don't let anyone tell you this game has no meat around its bones, because those bones could happen to be the byproduct of an ancient curse, and they might just come to life and start beating that ass if they hear you talking shit. Big, bloated, bacterial bastards that breathe bright yellow billows of bad news. Bullshit, I scoff at my screen. Underwhelmed by what this game attempts to present me, how dare you impede my pilgrimage with a school of slimy, greasy toads? An all too common phrase, uttered by non-veterans that bombastically fat roll into harm's way, clutching their +10 greatsword in hand, only to be taken hostage by an appalling yellow smog that harnesses the ancient and mysterious power of kill you. Remember when you were a child, and there were all these coloring books that kinda convinced you that poisonous animals were going to be a much bigger problem in your adulthood than they, you know, currently are? Well, that's where all these bastards ended up. Basilisks are the destructible floors of small enemies. So as to say, it's a shameless beginner's trap, and it's well fucking aware of it. The first time you're even inflicted with this status ailment, you've only often been exposed to minor afflictions like poison and frostbite. So taking what you learned, you throw caution to the wind and dismiss this unknown ailment as nothing more than a minor inconvenience. Oh, never mind, it just straight up kills you. What did we learn last time I did a Souls video? Rule 1, size matters not. Stop being so careless. Everything in this game kills you. You know, when it comes to embarrassing, undignified, and otherwise undesirable ways to end your life in Dark Souls, just falling off of shit has sort of become old hat. The people that have played it for long enough usually don't have to think too much about where all the nooks and crannies are, because the long grueling hours of play they've worked in has left them hyper-aware to such pitfalls, no pun intended. Somersaulting off a cliff because you weren't spatially aware of the area you were fighting in doesn't happen nearly as often as it used to, but it still happens, and it happens to everyone. Again, I'm sure a portion of viewers are in the middle of biting their lip trying not to spam get good to other people in the comments, but the truth of the matter is these players were once just like everyone else, closeted and unexposed to the many perils this universe had to offer. So if anyone starts pulling that elitism on you, just remember that they, at a point in time, also to their chagrin, attempted to dodge a fireball or something and trampolined themselves into the void below. And the more annoying their elitism is, the more recently I'd wager that actually happened to them. Dark Soulsers, I feel as though a wedge has been driven between you and I. Hopefully you don't remember me from back when I thought of myself as some video essay analyst, so full of himself that his own appendages would begin leaking from the holes in his face. That's some real Bloodborne shit. And if you have no idea what videos I'm talking about, then hey, do yourself a favor and write this ending paragraph for me, because you should totally pretend that what I said just didn't happen. Thanks for tuning into The Forge. No, I don't know why I called it that, and I'll see you in, I don't know, probably another month at the rate things have been going. I'm Rusty, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.